Hello, welcome back. It's Colin. Today we're starting a new series of projects under the Protect Our Planet, and today's project is called Green Goals. And just a warning, this is my third attempt at doing this because I've made some mistakes and there's some errors in the instructions which I'll call out as we go along. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our way to the Raspberry Pi projects page, and the block we're after is actually on the front page, and it's called Protect Our Planet. And today we'll be looking at green goals. And this is all about emphasizing the 5 environment-focused goals set by the United Nations. And if you want to know more information on each of those, then there's hyperlinks that go to the United Nations information pages. We're going to be making a project where our main Panda introduces the 5 goals: climate, energy, RRR, water and land. There is some sound and stuff in the background, as you can hear, and I'm going to stop that now, and because it goes on for quite a while. But if you want to watch it, then you're welcome to press the green flag and have a look. Today I'm going to be using the online version of Scratch. If you're going to use the offline version, don't forget to download the starter project. That's got a solution in it and also the artifacts to make the project. Today you'll be learning about how to use broadcasts, which we have used in the past, to control animation. We're going to learn how to use motion, looks and operators, and to play some accompanying sound. Also going to learn some different things that I didn't know about until I'd had a go at doing this project, which is interesting. And as a consequence of doing this project, you'll be learning about the 5, what do they call them? The 5 green goals. And that's climate, energy, RRR, which is reuse, recycle, and another R which I've forgotten, and water and land. Okay, let's get going, shall we? So to begin with, we're going to go for our starter project. And I know there's a lot going on this one, so we'll press the remix button to begin with and call that Colin's version. And you could work your way through this, as I've said before, going between the 2 tabs. So I like to have my instructions and my stage in one screen. So I'm going to grab hold of the tab, drag it down, and that separates that from the window. Hold down the Windows key, press the right arrow key, come back in here, hold down the window key again and press the left arrow key, and then squidge the instructions over to the left and bring the program over to meet it. Let's have a quick look at our project. Main Panda is the panda telling the story. He has 1 costume and no code. The other 5 pandas all have code on them, which is starter code. What I'd like you to do at the outset is under the RRR panda, he's missing a 5-second block. So I'd like you to now just go and get the wait 5 seconds. Wait block, change that to 5 and pop that in there. Let's just check it's the same as the other ones. Okay, so that's that one fixed. And the other thing we want to do is that when we come into climate one, we want to change his music to be emotional piano. Okay. And then each of the 5 sprites has just 1 costume. So let's look at those quickly. So there's climate change, there's energy, there's RRR, there's water, and here is land Panda. It's also worth pointing out while we're here that there are 5 backdrops on our stage. So I click the stage here on the right hand side, and a bit like the pandas, they've also got 5 costumes, but these are called backdrops. So they've each got a separate name, and we'll be using those names there to bring text into our narration of the project. Okay, so that's all the bits and bobs of that they've given us, so we can now get going. So first of all we're going to click on Panda, sorry, our main Panda in a sprite here, and then come up to the code. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make it so that when this sprite is clicked, when the green flag is clicked, we're going to broadcast a message, and that message is called next, and then press OK. And as soon as it gets that message, we want to switch the backdrop to climate action. So that's under looks, and switch backdrop to climate action. And then we want to now initialize our Panda to be in the same position for each run. So when I receive the message next, we want him to go to a certain position. So we want him to kind of like start roughly in the bottom left hand corner. So under motion, we'll drag in the go to X and Y position, and they suggest a position of -168, -87. Because I dragged him roughly into that position, that's where he would have, that's what the numbers were in there beforehand. And then we want him to do a show and a hide. So under looks, we're going to go for show, and I'm just going to pop hide down below because I don't want to use that just now. So let me just move our Panda somewhere over here. When I click on this block, that's going to be our starting position for our Panda, and if I press the green flag, we get the music playing, because there's code on climate change Panda that says when the stage switches to that to the world, play emotional piano. I'm going to stop that and come back to the main Panda. Panda, when he goes across the page, we want to make so Panda goes across to the right once he's done some talking. And we want the repeat loop, which is under control, and we want to repeat until Panda is touching the edge. So that's under sensing. It's the top one in sensing. Panda touching edge. Move 10 steps. Motion. Move 10 steps. So if I just click that on there, and I'll just test this a little bit as we go along. So that's Panda. He goes across to the right, touches the edge, and then he's just hovering. We can now add the hide block on there so that he's gonna pop and hide. Let's just bring him back by just pressing the show icon here. What we want to do now is we want it to, when he gets to hide, we want to broadcast the next message so that the next backdrop comes onto the screen. So under control, no, under events, broadcast next, and looks, change to the next backdrop. So that's going to go down through all the project backdrops one at a time. We're going to make Panda tell us which backdrop he's been switched to, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to bring in a say block, and at the bottom of the looks block there's a variable called backdrop, and it says number, but we want to pick the name, and we want to change the time for 4 seconds. And then we're going to add in a wait 12-second block. Wait is under control, 12 seconds. And let's pop that in where they say, so just after he's shown. So this bit of code here, he's going to go into the start position. He's going to appear if he's hidden. He's going to say the name of the backdrop for 4 seconds. Then he's going to wait for 12 seconds. And then he's going to repeat inside this loop, moving 10 steps until he's touching the edge, when he's going to hide. And then it will change to the next backdrop. So let's just test that, shall we? And 12 seconds is a long time. Go. Now. Go. Okay, so that's good. So that's working. So he's working his way through. And if I just let him carry on going on through that, he would just keep going. I'm going to change that 12 seconds to 2 seconds. And on the last Panda, I'm going to make a little note on here. So I could do a right click to add a comment. And when we get here, change the time on main Panda back to 12 seconds. Yeah. So that's just a reminder. So when we get to this page, this is called making a comment, and comments are like reminders for why we've done things. But I'm using this here as a reminder to do something, to put the game back, as to try and save a bit of time. Okay, let's go back to main Panda, and we want to add a final block onto the end of our code here to stop all sounds. So under sounds, right at, just about there, stop all sounds. So when he gets to the edge of the page, any music that's playing will stop, and then it will start again with the next instruction. Save our project. Right, let's move on to climate action. So clicking on climate action, we've updated this one to say emotional piano, and now we want to code this so that when the backdrop switches to climate action, so under events, when the backdrop switches to climate action, we want it to show. I'm going to bring the hide on as well as a reminder that I need to hide it. And we're going to set Panda to be 50% of his size. Shall we just make him visible so we can see him now? So if I click on the show here, there he is. Set size to 50%. Oh, they tell us to put it above there. So put him to the right size, then make him appear. And then we want to wait 5 seconds. Oops. Wait 5. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to make him increase and decrease in size. So he's going to pulse. So we want to bring in a repeat. I'm just going to build this down here so I can test it offline. I want 2 wait blocks. One, and I can right click on that and duplicate it. So that's 2. And I want to change size. So that's under looks. Change size by 5. Oh, I need another one. Change size by. I'm going to, just so you can see it a bit clearer, I'm going to change it to 25 and 25. Change that to 0.2. 0.2. Pop that in there. And if I click this block now, we'll see that he should. Oh, I haven't done that quite right. One of my sizes needs to go back to the original size, so put a minus sign in front of that. And if I just click him back to the size he should be. And that one. Now I press this block now. There he goes. He's pulsing on 25%. The instructions say 5, so let's put it back to 5 and -5. All right, that's reasonable. And we'll add that onto the bottom there. And the last thing we're going to add to this sprite's code is we're going to add an instruction to when he receives the next message. When I receive next, I'm going to hide. So pop, that's him hidden. Okay, let's go to our energy panda. And much as we've just done for climate change panda, we want to bring in when the backdrop switches to affordable and clean energy. We want a show and a hide. So look, and again I'm going to put the hide over there. We want him to point in a direction of 90, and that's under motion. Point in direction 90. Let's make him appear as well, shall we? So there he is. Point in direction 90, just in this case just makes him straighter. We want that 5-second wait. And we're going to make him kind of like jiggle side to side. He's going to kind of like do a hokey dokey. So we're going to repeat a number of times. We want a turn right, a turn left, and 2 waits. So let's get me 2 waits. Under motion, get a turn right and a turn left. Put those together. Again, let's see what make the numbers bigger so it's a bigger impact for you to see. Change the 0.1 to 0.2. Incidentally, you can change these numbers to anything you like. If you fancy something a bit longer, make the number bigger. If you fancy something a bit faster, try 0.02. How about that? 0.02. Let's pop that in our block there. Click the block, and oh, I think he's got a bit of hiccups. So let's that's because it was too fast really. So I'm going to put that back to 0.2. 0.2. And that's with me setting his angle to turn by 25 degrees. Again, they're telling us to do 15, but you can do whatever you like. If you make one different to the other, so this one I'm going to make him turn one way 15 degrees and then back the other way 25 degrees. See what happens? He's starting generally to turn himself upside down, which is why in the code here there's a point in direction 90, which will put him back to the beginning. So that's something you could do if you wanted to, but if I make that 15 as well, he'll end up being exactly where he started. Stick that on the end of the wait, and then another one when I receive next. So that's an event. When I receive next, I'm going to go and hide. Oh, that's him hidden. I've just noticed or remembered that there's an 18-second delay on each of these before or an 18-second repeat the loops 18 times. So I'm going to change that one to 18. I'm going to come back to climate and I'm going to change him to 18. Main Panda didn't have that 18 block on it, so let's go now to RRR. And that stands for responsible consumption. Reuse, reduce, and recycle. Okay, so we've got the right panda selected. Let's make him visible so we know what we're dealing with. He's a good boy, chucking his rubbish in the bin. we want the sprite, so when the backdrop switches to this backdrop, and we need to change that to RRR, or responsible consumption and production. We want that show and hide blocks again. We want that 5-second wait. I mean, something's just occurred to me is that I'm doing this first bit the same time and time again. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that block there. I'm just going to grab that block there and copy it onto Water Panda, and then copy that one onto Land Panda. You see it shake, and then those two pandas will have that first bit of code in them. And if I drag the hide and the hide there into there, then that bit of work has already been done for me. Right, we want a repeat 18. Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Energy Panda, and we're going to grab hold of our 18 block here of turning 15 degrees and turning 15 degrees the other way, and drag that onto RR Panda. Now when I go to RR Panda, that block of code is sitting there waiting. I could just copy that down. So if we want to just test what that looks like, we press here we go. So that's him chucking the rubbish in the bin. Let's say we do for time, but I think we could make something. I think it'd be quite nice if we had a different costume. Let's do that now. Go on, let's do that now. Let's do costumes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this sprite here. What I'd like to do is I'd like to rub out the piece of paper. So one sprite will be just him throwing the rubbish, and the other one will be the rubbish gone. For some reason, if I try and rub out this rubbish here, when I click away, it doesn't go away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this image to a bitmap. I'm going to pick the rubber again, and I'm going to rub out that rubbish, rub out the movement lines, convert it back to a vector image. So now I've got two images, one within thrown paper and one where the paper's gone. Back to my code, and in my little block of code down here, I'm going to put in there. So having made my second costume for him, I'm just going to get him to change costume each time by going to next costume and sticking one of those in there. I don't know why that didn't work. Let's go for switch to costume 1. Switch to costume 2. So now it looks like he's throwing his rubbish in the bin. And if I attach that on the bottom there, now when he becomes active, he's going to be looking as if he's throwing his rubbish in the bin. Just like a good lad. And then we also need to connect our hide option. So we come under events. When I receive next, hide. Our Panda, if I do a right click and clean up the blocks, that puts all his blocks into a nice tidy view. I thought there was one missing there, but it was there. Let's come to our next sprite. This is about life below water. Click on the sprite. Now this one we've got lots of stuff going on. I do a right click, clean up blocks. I can see what I've got. Remember I dropped some of those other bits of code in here. Well, that's the hide was waiting for me. And this block is waiting for me. So I need to change this one to be when backdrop switches to life below water. And we've got a show and we've got the wait that's a bit further down, but this one's got a point in direction 0 first of all. So looks. So motion. Point in direction, change that to be 0. let's have a look and let's make him visible. All right, so let's hide RR Panda. So click on that one. That's RR Panda gone. Come back to Water Panda. Let's click Show. So this panda, we want him to be looking upwards. So he's going to go upwards. Set rotation style to left and right. And then a show and then wait 5 seconds. Now this one's got a little bit of a different coding block to add on here. And what we want to do is we want to make it so the panda swims when the sprite does not, so that the sprite does not move unless the backdrop of the stage equals 4. So this time we're using a different way of controlling what triggers his movement. And we're going to bring in the repeat loop. And we're going to repeat until we want the not. So this block won't work if he isn't touching backdrop 4. So come to sensing, and we want yes we do. We want down the bottom here on sensing, we've got backdrop number. So that's the bit we need for the inside, and then come back to our operators, and we want the equal to operator, and we need to pop that in there, and we want equals 4. And then to make Panda go up the page, we just need to move him 2 steps at a time. Because we've made him point upwards, which is what 0 does, I bring in the motion block now, and we want to move a number of steps. I'm just going to bring that in there and press. Okay, because so this bit of code doesn't work because the backdrop isn't number 4. So if I come to the backdrops and I pick and I turn it to backdrop 4, that one there, then come back to my code, pick on Water Panda, and if I click on this now, you'll see him bounce up to the top of the page. So that looks like that's working fine. And then we need to connect our hide to when I receive move next, when I receive next. Then I do a right click on there and clean up the blocks. That just makes everything a bit tidier. So that's him coded. Now the last one is very little instructions because they want you to do your own thing. So let's go to Land Panda. Let's make Land Panda visible. And let's just drag these blocks. Oh, let's do the right click, clean up blocks first of all. That gives me some space. That was the one that we needed. We need to make sure we change that one to Life on Land. And what would I like this panda to do? So the suggestion, if you're stuck front, so you can make this do whatever you like. The suggestion they've got down here is, can you make it jump up and down? Well, we can do that. So let's go. Let's get a forever loop. A loop. Let's repeat 18 times, as that's the number we've used on other ones. Oh, let me just disconnect it so I don't start kicking other things off. And we want a motion. We want to change his Y value, which is the up and down coordinate where he is. We want 2 of those. And we want a time in between, so that's a control. We want to wait, duplicate that. Let's do wait 0.2, wait 0.2, stick that in there, and that should make him jump up and down. Oh, Okay, so it just makes him go up. So we need to stop. Oh, he's gone off the page. Let's bring him down. Let's stop the code. See if I can grab him. Yeah, we can grab him, bring him down. So what I need to do is to change that bottom 10 to be a -10. And now he'll bounce up and down. Okay. Can we make it do something else? Let's have a look to see what else we've got in here. Under looks, we could bring in change color effect. So now let's see what happens when we click this block now. Oh, that's quite cool. What else have we got? Ghost, that sounds interesting. So if I click that now, well, it's gradually disappearing off the page. I quite like that. It looks like he disappears after about 5, so I'm just going to change that to 6. How do I get him back? Good question. There's a clear graphics effect option here. So if I just click on that and then test that again. Yeah, I like that. I need to put the clear graphics effects there before he shows, and then stick my code under the bottom there. So when this backdrop becomes active, it will run through this code. And then I need to connect my hide option to a when I receive next. When I receive next. All right. And then there's my little note, my little reminder to change main Panda, that 2 seconds there, back to 12. Come back down there. I can now get rid of that because I don't need it. And if I was being tidy, I would do a right click and clean up the blocks. That just brings everything tidy. Do that on all the pages. Okay, and now if we make it big and press the green flag, so those words there were words they gave us were in those blocks already. Remember that one we made the bit of paper look as if it had been thrown into the dustbin? And that's our ghosting effect on on the last Panda. Okay, let's just press stop. I wasn't sure about the water Panda. I think I might have left a big number in. Oh yes, I left a big number in there, didn't I? 10. Move 10 steps. Water Panda. Right, so let's put 2 in there. And they're suggesting put an if on edge bounce. I don't think it goes far enough to get to the edge, but that would be that. And then the last thing you can do with this project, which is what I would like to see, is sharing your project. So press the share button at the top. Turn commenting off for the online commenting. We can do our comments in Facebook group, and you can either copy the link at the top or copy the link pressing this button here and then copy the link there. That's exactly the same as what's at the top there, really. and then paste that into Facebook. Okay, well that's the end of today's project. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you didn't fall into the traps that I fell into. And if you did, I hope you managed to recover. Any problems, put a note in the comments below. And the next project we'll be working on is something called Save the Shark. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, see you next time. Bye.